So we're burning daylight up in here.
I'm here.
Okay.
It's 4:30, dude. Daylight's over.
Okay. Yeah, because we'd have to break a little earlier today than usual. So.
Yeah.
Wendy, you're going to try to go above this pantry keeper's station and prepare these hairs for the rat folk.
I'm gonna prepare some hairs, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna use any of their stuff, though.
And Razu, you're going to try to convince people to not kill the white snake when you're done with him.
Yes.
So after Red and Birdie come back, they say they've identified the passage that this stuff must have come down. The decision of the elders is that they will allow the outsiders to get what information they can from the white snake, but after that he is to be put to death. So unless you intervene in some way, they're not going to risk having this Yanti Malison in their borders any longer. And let's be frank, he was just stinking up the joint.
Would they consider letting us take him with us when we leave?
No, we've already got a human following us. We've got our Yanti quotient full.
Yeah, the problem with that plan, Razu,
that
would be pointed out by Sis and probably many others if they understood, is that you can't reasonably give them any assurance that he wouldn't escape from you and become a danger at some point again.
Okay, well, here's my line of thinking. That you don't know what's in his head. Like you don't know what he knows about this, which we're reasonably sure that this is some kind of Yanti weapon. And so in order to get anything out of him, anything useful out of him, you're going to need to incentivize him cooperating with you. Because if he knows that he's just going to be put to death after you wring any of the information out of him that you possibly can, then he's not going to tell you anything.
This is where Razu is too lawful for her own good. Sis kind of snickers as you continue to misunderstand his position. You're saying that that unless you tell him he'll be safe, he won't tell you anything useful. Is that correct? He'll need your assurance that he can get out of this safely before he can be made useful?
Yeah.
So what Sis and most of the other rat folk are agreeing to do is to tell him that he'll be safe, get the useful information, and then kill him anyway. They're going to be purely chaotic about this. They're going to tell him what he wants to hear, so he tells you what you need to know, and then they're going to go back on their word and kill him anyway. Because they're rats. These are not people that believe in honorable warfare or.
And Razu is really gritting her teeth and biting her tongue with this.
The word of one of these rat folk is basically worthless because they'll tell you whatever you want to hear in the moment to get as much gain as they can.
Yeah, and that's why Razu's kind of happy that she got her weapons back for the party.
In their culture, they see nothing wrong with telling this guy they'll set him free and then turning around and executing him anyway.
Birdie pats Roz on the leg and says, if it makes you feel better, he's probably eating rat people.
Adrix's problem with all of this is that they've kept him around just to play with him and essentially torture him. And now that he might actually find a use, they want to keep him alive. To me, this isn't chaotic as much as it is just evil.
It's a little bit of both.
It's pretty cruel, yeah. And Razu, like, she won't say as much, but she clearly disapproves of the idea of killing this man.
Because, yeah, there's a utilitarian view of we should kill our enemy, especially when they do terrible things to us, but they very much kept him alive, and now they just want to kill him as some kind of retaliation.
Not necessarily. They want to kill him because now it seems like there's a Yuan-Ti threat, and he's more dangerous than they originally thought he was.
What gain?
That's not Adrix's view.
Mm-hmm.
What gain do you gain by What gain do you get by killing him? How do you strike back at the Yuan-Ti who might not even know that he's here? Who like
they're not going to strike back at the Yuan-Ti. That's your job. They've just the Council of Elders has decided to allow the outsiders to assist in this matter by doing the striking for them. They don't have to worry about striking at anybody.
Like,
and that's why they gave you your weapons back. Roger, make a wisdom. Go ahead, Red.
I need him alive. After we get there and do what we're going to do, we have to bring back a sample of the poison, and I need him to verify that it is what we think it is.
Does Red actually believe that to be true, or are you just saying that? Are you persuading or are you deceiving?
Boy, I think they're both a little bit accurate. Let me.
I'll let you pick then. Whatever one you want to roll.
Yeah.
Column A, column B.
Let's go with, let's go with persuasion, because that is like Red's big concern, is to make sure that this poison doesn't get out.
Okay.
He might even, he doesn't want it to happen, but if for some reason, we free him and then he kills one of the rat folk, that's terrible, but it's still better than, Grey Goose scenario. So, let's go ahead with this persuasion of 15.
There is some uncomfortable murmuring amongst the council. And they want to know exactly what use he can be in identifying this poison. Like, they seem like they're amenable to the idea if it's necessary, but they want to make absolutely sure before you guys set off that it is necessary.
Well, from what I understand from him, the information we have already, which we need quite a bit more to really be successful about this, the Yuan-Ti have just created this new poison. We need to go there and do something about that, whether it's stopping them, killing them all, destroying the formula, whatever. But once we've done that, we're going to need to bring some of it back to make sure we've actually gotten the right thing. Like, otherwise we can't be sure that that it's not a different group. There are lots of Yuan-Ti out there. We can't be sure that it's a different poison and they've created multiple ones. We have more work to do. And even the poison that we have here as a sample, if they have 5 types of it sitting in their labs, we're going to have to bring some of that back and he's going to be the only person who can tell you if we've finished our job.
The murmuring continues for a few more moments. And they agree that if it's necessary for you to ensure that this poison is properly identified so it can be combated if necessary, that they'll leave him alive, at least until your return. But again, you're just kind of deferring the situation because, again, once you've determined to your satisfaction that this situation has been dealt with, they're going to execute him anyway. But you've got him a reprieve for at least a moment. He'll be alive when you return.
Okay.
So what do you need from Whitesnake before setting out?
Still doesn't sit right with Adrix.
It shouldn't. It's almost as though I specifically crafted this moral quandary so it wouldn't sit right with the PCs to ensure that they have to make a difficult decision. Because I'm a fucking storyteller over here.
You're sadist, is what you are.
So we hear. So we hear.
Like,
All right. Well, we need to get whatever information we can about him, about where this poison is and how we destroy it, and stop them from being able to make any more.
can we grab some of the acid tendrils that we have in in bags? I guess they're probably.
Can I study this stuff? Can I see if like there's danger in exposing it to air?
Yes, there's you know for a fact there is because you
Okay.
fought creatures that were using it in air, but it seemed to
Okay.
be relatively inert inside when it was submerged completely in liquid.
So I have a couple of questions. Like the what was the debris that we found the poison floating in? Like, was it just crushed barrels or something? Did it look like the stuff?
Scraps
that
of
it was-
cloth and wood. It may have been laying there for years and years. It could be any number of things.
Okay.
Red found the banner, but as far as I know, yet he hasn't taken it back out of his
No.
pack in the light.
No.
So who's gonna go speak with Whitesnake?
I'll go.
I'll go with you.
Okay. As you make your intentions known to go speak with the prisoner, Bad Ears tags along with you. Remember, Bad Ears speaks Draconic. Anything you tell Whitesnake in Draconic, he'll be able to hear. But he and then one of the other bandits take up position outside of the door while you guys go inside.
Okay.
All right. So, Razu, do you speak giant?
I sure don't.
Anything else?
I speak Moncton.
Yeah, I don't. Okay. Okay.
He speaks Draconic and he speaks Parcel Tongue.
So yeah, we go back into the chamber. Do you want to, Razu? Do you want to begin or shall I?
You can go ahead.
So I'll ask him in Yuan-ti. Well, look, some more of this poison has shown up in the water supply. We're going to go destroy it. So anything that you want to tell us that would help us doing that might ease your conscience a bit, since it was obviously such a big deal for you to not be involved with it.
He asks what you mean, destroy it.
That's what I'm hoping to find out from you. Can I kill certain people and burn certain books and the formula's lost forever? Do I have to tip vats over into a stream and hope nothing terrible happens to the environment for hundreds of years? Help me out here.
He says that since time immemorial, his people have used known poisons. And he describes a few that you'd be familiar with, some of which are particularly nasty, but are par for the course for Yuan-ti. And there was a religious aspect to all of this, of course. They felt like they were the greatest people, the greatest civilization to ever walk the earth, and they have all these delusions that someday they'll go back out and conquer the whole world with these poisons and whatnot. But very recently, within the past year or so, a small faction of their kingdom broke away and started doing unholy, almost sacrilegious rituals, discarding older texts and doing experimentations, making requests for very specific types of slaves for use. He says he was stationed at this particular lab and eventually at this laboratory that he describes. And he says it reached the point where the sacrilegious rites became too much for him. And that's why he left. Make a history check, Red.
Sure. It's going to be a history of 12.
Yuan-ti as a people are very set in their ways. They change for no one. Part of their civilization is they believe they're superior to all other races.
Right.
For a group of Yuan-ti to break away like that and take such a sharp deviation has to be the work of some kind of outside force.
Mhm.
Somebody injected knowledge into at least a part of this civilization. And the experiments he's describing are not anything similar to what you may have heard of. This is some very strange arcane shit that's going down.
So, my thought on this is if everyone who was involved with this was dead, there'd be no one who would want to carry on the research.
You're asking him that?
Sounds that
Yeah.
seems a fair assessment to me.
He says that he believes that if everybody involved with this research was dead, and he seems very distant for a moment, very pained. You can tell this is a man who loves his kingdom and his people.
Yeah.
And despises the direction they were taking. He says he doesn't know what swayed his people away from the Red Star. But whatever that agent is, it won't stop simply because one laboratory has fallen.
Then do we need to find the source of this corruption, I guess?
You were asking him in Draconic?
Yeah.
He turns back to Red and Yanti and tells him anything I say in the tongue of worms will be overheard by the guard at the door.
Red nods.
And then in Draconic to Razu, he says that he does not mean to be impolite.
Razu just nods.
He tells Red that he was not able to find the source of this corruption, but if you do find it and are able to root it out, that might solve the problem you're looking for. It won't do anything to end this Yanti civilization that has this kingdom right on the edge of these marshlands here, but probably the poison tentacles will stop.
And you believe this is a supernatural corruption?
He tells you that he believes it's a demonic corruption. An enemy of the Red Star.
And I'll ask him if he can give me specific instructions getting to the lab.
He says that the only overland entrance is right in the heart of the Yanti kingdom, that it would be impossible for you to get there without being seen. The lab itself is built over essentially an aquifer. It has many underwater tunnels, which obviously when he left he wasn't able to use. But that the river that runs through the heart of the mountains passes directly under the laboratory and connects to it in several places. In fact, parts of the water are used as essentially garbage chutes, refuse.
And how would I know I'm in this lab if I swim up into it?
He describes the Malisons that are stationed there. He tells you you'd be able to hear the cries of those being experimented on, depending on where you came up from the water. There's an opening into... Let me look at my map here. 1, 2, 3, 4... 5 openings. 5 places where the lab touches the river. None of which are safe for Yanti to traverse because they can't breathe water. The first opens into a shrine to the Red Star that has essentially lain fallow. In fact, the directors of the place had forbade any kind of prayer.
Did they do anything to desecrate it?
Not that he knows of. The second opens up into a storage room where various alchemical reagents and biological materials are stored. The third opens up into the main laboratory and workshop. The fourth opens up into the caretaker's quarters. And caretaker is an almost ironic word in Parseltongue, because what it actually means is jailer and torturer.
Right.
And the last opens up into a side tunnel which connects with the main entry to the lab, which is situated on a cliff overlooking the valley where the main kingdom is laid out. But to make use of any of those as entrances, you'd have to be able to breathe underwater, which of course you can't do.
Right.
Yeah, that's just preposterous.
I'll just turn to Razu and say in Draconic, I think we know what we need to know.
Razu leans in and whispers really low. It says, should we tell him about the Elder's plan?
Does that do us any good? Work out a plan on the way.
Fair enough. Alright. Yeah, now we've got everything else for him then, I guess.
Wendy,
Yeah, so knock on the door.
you have bought a considerable amount of goodwill, bringing back these hairs and sharing them freely amongst the rat folk. Make an insight check.
Alright. That is a 13.
13. These people detest their pantry keeper. Everybody has constant complaints that nobody has enough, that her rationing is unfair. During times of feast, she's blamed for not sharing the wealth, as it were. During times of famine, she's blamed for hoarding her share. Everybody's convinced that she always has more than everybody else. So, the only people that are really angry that you're sharing all of this food, essentially, is the pantry keeper and the very few rats that work with her. The elders make a cursory attempt to, like, hey, all this food's brought back, we need to make sure it's rationed properly, we need to turn it over, but nobody's listening to them at this point. Everybody's fascinated with your preparation techniques. And you guys have also assured them that the water is safe to drink, is that correct?
As long as they don't see anything floating in it.
Okay. Then at this point in time, as the moon is beginning to rise, and the Duchess is about to take her leave, the general consensus is that you are going to solve this tentacle threat once and for all. Then when you come back, Red's going to have a sample of their poison, which the prisoner is going to identify for you to correctly assure everyone that it's been dealt with, that it's all been destroyed, and then they will execute him, after which point the Warrens will be made safe once again. Nobody is happier about this plan than Frelish, who saw all of it in her colorful dreams.
Including the execution?
It's the nature of rat people to be devious and backstabby.
So she lied to us, is what I'm hearing, or at least a lie by omission.
She lied to you? How so?
I mean, she didn't say anything. She just mentioned a battle.
Mm-hmm. Well, where do you suppose you guys are going next? You're not going to the candy shop, my friend.
Well, it sounded like the battle
Wait,
would
was
take
that
place
option?
at the one.
Yeah, can we go to
Yeah.
Candyland?
Yeah, let's
Is
go
that-
to
Is that the
Candyland.
next adventure? Let's forget about this Lord of Blades. Let's go to Candyland.
Do you guys need any preparations before? So, are you going out through the pool here and taking the river route?
How much water breathing do we have left?
I have 3 charges, so that'd be enough to give us
3 days.
Yeah, so that's
3 days.
so that's probably fine to go underwater.
Yeah.
Getting Adrix and Razu up off of the ground. When it went into that tributary, would it be hard to get someone to walk along the bottom, or is that like raised, or can they just walk?
No, they'd be. They're wearing heavy armor.
Mhm.
None of you have a swim speed, right? So any underwater
No.
movement counts as difficult terrain for you.
Right.
Yeah.
In addition, Windy is permanently blind while underwater. She's not able to billow her cloak.
That sounds like me.
And Razu and Adrix can move, but with great difficulty if they're wearing heavy armor. They can't swim, as it were. They're too heavy, but you could climb up into the tributaries you need to go. You guys
Okay.
have climbing implements. You've got rope.
Yep.
Essentially, you guys are going to be down to half movement as you move around underwater, unless you have some way to get a swim speed. Razu and Adrix, I'm going to cut down to a quarter movement.
I think going in underwater is reasonable.
Yeah, I think even at a quarter movement, it's worth it. Just to not have Razu get owned. Extremely owned.
Well, Razu might get owned regardless, because
Quadruple owned.
I'm guessing that Brick Road has plans for this contingency. That's a little metagamey, I know, but
Have I planned for any of your contingencies this entire campaign? Well,
See, the problem, Brickroyd, is that I didn't come up with this plan, and I happen to know my bullshit is unplannable.
Keeping in mind, Red, also, most of the lab he's described to you is not underwater. It connects to
Yeah.
the river in many places, but it's not itself an underwater
Yeah.
lab.
I think we should check like. Did he give us the exact location? Is it down the tributary where the garbage was?
I think if I keep going up the tributary to where it levels out and comes to the air, I can probably identify if we're in the right place from his descriptions. Is that right?
Yes, he wouldn't know the layout of the underground rivers, how they all join together, but you've identified a path that some of this stuff must have come from already. And you found a Yanti Red Star banner while you were down there.
Could be any color. I haven't taken it out of my pack yet.
It could even have a boat on it.
All right, so there's no preparation needs to be done. We're all setting out. Okay, Adrix, what do you want to do?
Hold on. I'm
Holding on?
thinking.
Holding on?
What about trying to get a resistance to this acid as poison? Because I have a feeling we might get hit with it a couple times.
We could ask the alchemist. If she has such an item.
I mean, I could try and study it, but I don't know that I want to do that in the.
I could
It's
reserve
exposing it to air.
I could reserve my poultices for just treating the infection.
I think
That'd
he's
be
more
good.
concerned about every time he stabs it, he gets spurted on.
No, but that's also a good thing to be concerned
Would it make you
about.
feel better if I called you Hand Axe for the rest of this mission, and you just threw hand axes?
Well, Hand Axe actually did use a hand axe.
Right, that's why I'm saying, like, this will comfort
You-
Adrix.
you're the
Things are
real
the way
Hand
they
Axe.
should be. This will comfort Hand Axe.
Adrix is the true hand axe all along.
So we,
I could try and study some of the frozen or underwater samples we have, but I definitely wouldn't want to do it when I hike out a ways.
If you guys have, like, 4 or 5 years, I could teach you how to become in tune with your body and resist all diseases.
Frelich does not have an easy way to give you poison or acid resistance, no.
Keep,
okay.
The 4 or 5 years will keep Whitesnake alive, so. I have a feeling the rat folk aren't going to go along with that.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's gonna work.
All right.
I always wanted to become a monk, though. Wah! 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 Adrix starts punching the air.
Are those your monk noises?
Yeah.
After
Those are
an
adorable.
hour or two of traversing this underground river, moving against the stream, you come into an especially messy isometric map.
Oh my
Jesus.
god, it's the worst.
Alright, first I transform into a spider.
Okay. And I just grab all of these maps off Google Image Search, and I leave the attributions if I can on them. A lot of maps don't have them, but if they do, I like to leave it on there.
Sure.
And this one has a
I'm not gonna
Patreon
check
link.
myself to where.
And I might actually have to pledge to this guy's Patreon because at a certain pledge level, he gives you like the raw PDF files, and I'm like, oh, dude, that'd be super useful.
I love
Kind of
11
shrinking people
Tower.
down to where a little bit in the squares here.
But it's funny because I had to I had to cut away a bunch of this map that I didn't need, and then just repaste the attribution back on.
According to Google, he's a source of original, imaginative combat and narrative chronicles.
Okay, that's fine.
I love narrative chronicles.
All right. So along the way, once we're out of shot of the rats, let's have a little quick one-on-one discussion or group discussion about Yanti religion and what you need to know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a question about that for you.
All right, get out the torch. Red will fish the banner out of his backpack.
Okay, so wait, real quick. Why didn't they know you were a Yanti if they had a Yanti tied up?
Because there are multiple types of Yante. There are multiple castes. I was raised to say pure half-blood, but I believe Malison is the more correct translation into common. They're above myself, who we're true bloods. We mostly infiltrate human societies.
Alright, but there's like a lot of different types of humans, and I could still spot a human.
Right. There's more variety among Yanti. You didn't see obviously you didn't see him, but the Malison we met within the fortress of the rat folk had snakes for arms, for instance, and that's not uncommon.
Alright, Red, I appreciate that you're starting to try to tell jokes, but what was the
Rosie
actual...
scratches her head a little bit and says, "Look, the goblinoid caste system isn't very difficult. You got the hobgoblins at the apex, then you got bugbears, then you got the goblins.
Yanti are like that, but with dozens of additional castes, and
yeah.
the physiology is quite a bit different.
It's simple that way.
At any rate, and I'll pull the banner out, is it indeed red, now that we have the torchlight?
Yeah, it's a red star. You recognize it straight away.
Birdie raises his hand at Red.
Birdie?
So by that analogy, does that mean you're a goblin?
I think so, actually. Is that correct?
I mean, it's not a one-to-one comparison.
Yeah, no, that's what Razu's got it. That's what got Razu so confused.
Wendy raises her wing.
Wendy?
Does that mean his arms shed their skin?
Possibly. We don't usually talk about it.
Do they have to feed them?
So anyway, what are you? What's this all about? Like what relevance?
So the conversation I had with him was basically about how these were a bunch of heretics who had abandoned the true ways. By the way, if you didn't know, Yanti are incredibly set in their ways, and that they were thrown down this, and they'll throw out the banner, which is, yep, that's just what I thought. There's a demon god called Kydron, which my people worshipped as well, that apparently they've abandoned the ways of to make this poison.
Does he have snakes for arms?
No, he's a Baylor.
Oh.
What's a Baylor?
It's a very large, very fiery demon with wings.
Oh, I don't like that.
Why don't we ever go anywhere nice?
Like
Well, there is
Candyland?
something nice about the demon lord, actually. And the nice thing is that he's trapped. He has a realm and a star far above the world, but he's trapped there by a rainbow serpent, is the best way I could describe it. I believe her name is Ixakune, from what little research I've found in forbidden and blasphemous texts before I left my home.
I like rainbows. Rainbows are cool. What?
Razu pats Adrix on the arm.
Do you not like rainbows?
So like a giant snake? Is that what you're saying?
A giant snake with wings, yes.
So a dragon?
No, a giant snake with wings. I believe they're cousins to dragons within whatever insane hierarchy of creatures there exists between those.
If his arms eat, where does the food go afterwards?
And about
Birdie
this
pats
time,
Wendy.
the passage you're following opens up into this wide, kind of roundish chamber, which is the bottom of a deep pool, maybe a good 50 or 60 feet deep. And You can see the surface high above you. Well, those of you with dark vision can anyway. There's also a large submerged opening here, leading off to the east, and then a very small opening in the wall here, a 5x5 square. That's not a natural formation. It looks like it was carved. It's small, so most of you would have to squeeze through. Razu and Adrix would not be able to go through this passage without removing their armor and dragging it behind them.
Should we check the underwater section first?
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea.
Try not to make too much noise.
Do my best. But hopefully the sound underwater doesn't carry too far upward.
It seems like
clear. I have to take my armor off and then. put it
When
back
does he
on.
have to take his armor off? If he goes where?
there's
There's
a
a different-
hole in the wall right here,
Oh, right here. All right.
about 5 or 6 feet up off the ground. It's perfectly square. It's obviously been carved.
Gotcha.
But it's a small tunnel, so if you're medium sized, which most of you are, you'll have to squeeze. And Adrix and Razu aren't getting through with heavy armor.
All right.
So moving against the flow of the river, you come to a second kind of largest open chamber.
Ah,
And stepping in, you can see where the river continues to flow in from off in the east.
Hmm.
There's not a pool overhead here, though. This is just an aquatic chamber.
Are these boxes here?
They are there, yes.
Love boxes.
Oh. And we have 2 rogues. That's great.
hang on. Should see
Adrix
if
says,
they're
and definitely
trapped
not
or
the player
mimics.
playing Adrix.
All right, roll initiative.
What did I say?
Like he couldn't hit.
What did I say?
I mean, everything's a mimic. It's
Not my fault.
whatever.
Not my
I was
fault.
about to make the comment that no, I don't want to go to Candyland because there'd be freaking lollipop mimics.
It's a good idea.
You don't need to worry about them though. They're all in a guild.
Oh God, somebody in my
I should've
chat
hit the move Razu.
had a great idea of, I don't remember who it was now, but like having a mimic chest with teeth and a tongue, but it wasn't a mimic, it was just a chest that had a teeth and tongue.
No, but here's the thing: you do that, and then inside there's like a bunch of treasure, except the treasure is a mimic.
The treasure itself is a mimic.
Just eventually
giving
McDowell's
Briscoe
going to end up
ideas?
telling all this to a psychiatrist.
Like I can afford a psychiatrist.
On a mimic, the chain goes the other way.
All right.
Dark Souls joke.
Healthcare.
Birdie, you can't be surprised, right?
Right.
Something's wrong. You have no idea what. What do you do?
I mean, I was going to. I'll say no. Back up.
Habitual objection that we're
And-
never surprised by a mimic.
Back up.
Okay. Wendy, you're surprised. Razu is surprised.
Doesn't sound like me.
Red,
Prepare to get mimicked.
Red is dead instantly. No save.
mm-hmm.
There is no appeal.
All right.
If you have mimic
Red,
resistance,
I need
you're
a
still dead.
strength saving throw.
Is this against magic or a spell?
It actually is, yes.
Ah, damn it. You don't get the +4 from Razu.
For the first time ever, I think.
That's a
Second.
13.
A 13. You are restrained when suddenly the flow of water around you starts to change. And I mean, you've been walking against this current for the most part, and it hasn't been particularly swift. But as you approach these 3 boxes, it stops feeling like you're moving against a gentle current, and more like the water itself is starting to flow directly into you from all directions, hard. And the end result is you're unable to move. It's like holding you in place. And then the invisible Hydroloth bites. I have a 17.
I think that's a hit.
If we're fighting things that are invisible,
Yeah.
I'm no worse off than anyone else.
Well, it's not invisible anymore because you just made an attack. Nope, I rolled the wrong dice. I need to roll bigger dice.
No, don't roll bigger dice.
I rolled the bigger dice, but I got a smaller number. How's that sound? Red, 11 points of piercing damage. As suddenly this giant frog demon materializes. I almost said in thin air. Not thin air, dense water. Red is suddenly motionless in front of this chest. This frog demon materializes, takes a big bite down at him, piercing through his flesh. Adrix is surprised. Red is surprised. Red, you can... Do you get to make this save? Go ahead and repeat that strength saving throw at the end of your turn. Why are you rolling
Still a
two
13.
dice?
Is it not magical anymore?
Oh, it is magical. You're right. Still a 13? Okay.
Yeah.
And Birdie, you weren't surprised last round, but you still didn't stop this from happening.
Like, what could I have done to stop it from happening?
I don't know.
Kill
Good
the
question.
thing.
Make
Obviously.
Make an active perception check, perhaps?
I guess I could have. Oh well, if wishes were horses. I'm going to come up here over this box,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to stab it with my short sword.
Stab it with your short sword. Okay.
Stands on the box. It's a mimic.
Stands on the box, it's a horse.
Let me see. Hold on. Okay, not is restrained incapacitated?
No.
No.
Okay. So that would be a +9. That's a 21 to hit.
21 does hit.
2, 3, 4. Are we on 5 yet? Like, are we on 5d6 for sneak attack?
Are you 9th level?
Yes,
Yes.
That seems like the kind of thing that should be on your character sheet.
it is, but like,
It's hard.
But he could just ask a rogue.
so that would be 27 damage.
And what weapon are you using?
My short sword.
Okay.
It is non-magical, not silvered.
So, Birdie, remember, every square counts as difficult terrain.
Mhm.
You do have some overhead clearance if you're able to swim. Razu and Adrix, you're not able to swim in this room. You climb up on top of this box and stab at this frog creature with your short sword, and then moving
Yeah.
or staying put.
Cunning action, disengage. So if it's all difficult terrain, I was here. Just
You're going to cunning action disengage.
yeah.
It's going to activate his sentinel.
Okay.
I have a 26.
Well, yeah.
As he claws out at you with his massive, horrible, sharp claws, as a frog has,
Yeah.
I
Hey,
don't
Red,
know.
which square?
11
are you in?
points of slashing damage. And your speed is set to 0 for the duration of his turn.
Hashtag just frog things.
Right. That's going to bring us to Vindy.
All right. I'm going to end up above Birdie,
So you're going to swim up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
and I'm going to kick down at this Hydroloth and then slash at it with my longsword.
Very good.
Wait. That's a 21 to hit.
A 21 will hit.
All right, that'll do. $12 magical slashing.
Okay.
And could you make me a Constitution saving throw?
He's real good at these. Well, actually, he doesn't have any saves. Maybe he can
Oof.
find any saves, really?
You hate to hear that.
Still got a 20.
That'll do it. And then I'm going to do the kick portion.
Now for the kick portion of this attack.
The kick portion of this attack does a 17
A 17 hits.
for another 10 bludgeoning.
Okay.
Magical. And another con save, please.
18.
Damn, you're just rolling real good. No saves, I heard.
Well, he's not.
Uh,
He's not proficient in any saves. He still has his bonuses from stats, though.
still has a Constitution score.
Right.
I'm going to just go for a martial arts.
Look at the nonsense bullshit I had to do on the black space on this map. It's ridiculous.
That's pretty nonsense.
Yeah.
And that's a
This is your
16.
key point martial arts.
No, this is free martial arts. Key point is for flurry blows.
Okay, and this
This is a 16 to hit.
that hits. It's a bonus action, is what I meant.
Yes, it's a bonus action.
Gotcha.
I just generally don't get to use it. That's a 6 magical slashing and one final con
Did
save.
you just spend 3 key points in one turn?
I'm a monk.
Yep.
I got key points for days.
A 4.
Yeah, and he is stunned until the end of my next turn.
Indeed, he is. And moving or staying put?
I'm staying put. I literally have to stay put. Even with my monk speed, I only got here.
Warasu.
Unfortunate. Oh, if he's stunned, then I could potentially switch places with Red at this point.
Red's not
in
able
order
to move.
here. Oh, right. He's restrained.
He's restrained.
I can't hit him with the trident from here, can I?
Does it reach 10?
No, it is not.
Then no.
I can go with a whip, but I don't know how that's going to work underwater.
A whip, I'm going to say you can roll it at disadvantage,
All right.
just because
Sounds
it's
good,
not.
buddy.
It's just not an effective weapon underwater.
The disadvantage is canceled out by him being stunned. That is a 26 to hit.
I mean, Ostrom's real familiar with this whip.
Ostrom, yeah. Yeah, let's get D4, and then let's put some Paladin Stank on it. Assuming he is a fiend, I do get the extra D4 on that.
Hydroloth is a fiend.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and throw this damage out right here. Ooh.
I'm taking half credit for this.
Yeah, no, by all means. That's 5 slashing damage from the whip and 19 damage, thunder damage from the smite.
19.
Yep.
Okay. And moving or staying put?
Staying put.
I don't know what a peal of thunder sounds like when it comes from a whip when you're deep underwater, but I bet it's badass.
Yeah.
It probably sounds like a big bloop bloop.
Adrix, your turn. For Hydroloth is stunned.
Okay.
Do some violence to it.
Oh. Let me guess this. How effective is a ranged attack in this water?
Depends on what you're using. If it's a thrown weapon, like an axe,
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
effective. Bows are going to be
Less
less effective. A harpoon, however, like a thrown spear would be okay. The javelin
Like
would
some kind
of
of
worse.
javelin, if you will.
Yeah, javelin's fine.
As in the javelins that are hanging off of Razu's back.
Nice and hydrodynamic.
Yeah.
I had a harpoon gun once.
Has a pair of javelins. He lost one recently, but he still got 2.
A bit
And he
ate
hasn't
it.
restocked, so it's all right. Let's javelin.
Let's jav.
Lady
You have
javelin.
advantage, by the way. He's stunned.
Off the
Hi, guy.
Aha! See,
Well,
You know.
that's 15.
It's just what?
15 to hit.
15 hits.
15 hits. All right, 4.
I just love that Bill throws dice off the table, and instead of going higher, they go lower.
9 damage. And all right, second attack, second javelin.
Okay.
Still get advantage. I don't try to roll it. I mean to roll it off the table. It just happens that way.
You're unreal. Oh wait! Don't let go! Let go. Okay.
2.
What was it before you re-rolled it?
It was rolling onto a 12.
It had come to a
Something
stop,
like
then he picked it back up and re-rolled it.
No, it was rolling back. I saw it, and he grabbed it like a jackass.
Yeah.
It was on 2. So
I'm going to
that's it.
discount that die because I saw a 2 as well. Then he picked it up and re-rolled it.
Yeah. I wasn't picking it up to re-roll it. I was
I saw him pick it up when it was
13 to
rolling
hit.
back.
13 to hit.
13 does not hit.
13 doesn't hit.
Let the die come to a complete stop. We can mouse over it and see what number it is.
Keep your hands and keep your legs and arms.
That was a self goal, own goal.
Moving or staying put, Atrix?
I will end my turn.
Okay, one of your javelins is now sticking out of the frog demon, and the other clattered behind him on the other side of that box. Red, you can repeat that saving throw.
I think I'm just restrained, right? Unless something changed.
You are restrained, yes.
So I can make
But-
attacks at disadvantage?
At the end of your turn, though, you can repeat the saving throw to end the
Oh,
restraint
yeah,
condition. That's what I'm saying.
So, yeah, right. Well, first let's go ahead and make one of those attacks disadvantage, which cancels out the stunned with a Kraken Priest dagger,
Okay.
hitting an armor class of 20.
20 will hit.
For 23 damage.
23. And do you break off the dagger?
No.
All right.
I got like 6 of them back on the deceit.
And with great difficulty, you manage to get the dagger out and quickly shiv the Hydroloth. And there's no moving or staying put for you because you're restrained.
Yep. Saving throw. Oh, I stole a bonus. Let's go ahead and give Razu advantage on our next or Windy advantage on our next attack, actually. It'll make more sense.
Okay.
And saving throw against magic or a spell is a 14 this time.
14 doesn't do it.
Okay.
Let me
Wait,
get-
wait, you're near Razu though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
sorry,
you
that's
do
a-
get you get
18.
+4 to that.
I'm sorry, 18?
Yeah, now it's an 18.
18. You managed to break free from the spell, and the water that was flowing around you, keeping in place, diverts normally, and you find yourself able to move again.
That's the end of Red's turn.
Boydie.
Okay. Well, I mean, stab.
Okay.
I love it when you stab.
19 to hit.
19 does hit.
I don't need this. 2, 3. For a total of 16, 21 piercing, non-magical.
Okay, he is bloodied.
Jesus.
As you get him with
Just
the
then,
short
I think I'm gonna burn some more key points, you guys.
Moving or staying put?
I'm gonna get out from under. I'm gonna cunning action disengage to get away
So
from.
he's stunned. You don't have to disengage.
Oh,
He can't
There you go.
attack you.
I'm gonna get on this side of him.
Okay.
No, don't go there, Birdie. 'Cause
Okay.
I want to get there because I want to stab him with my trident.
Okay. Well, how about I go above him?
You can go above him.
Yeah.
You can swim
I'm a
up there.
little offended because I feel like you're just moving to get away from me.
Well, I mean,
We have it on good
Say, sorry.
authority that birds can't control their bladder and just shit everywhere.
Yeah, but I'm in water, so it's fine.
So it's just all over the place. It's floating.
That's gross.
Everyone just shits
Ew.
everywhere in the water.
Wendy, it's your turn.
Ew.
What do you do in addition to shitting everywhere?
All right, I'm gonna first of all go in for a longsword.
Okay.
Just get a nice slash in on him through this murky water, make it a bit more murky.
It's like
Make it
a
a bit more
garden
water.
sprinkler.
Yep,
That's
took
a-
the advantage for that attack, right?
Yeah, that's a 15
A 15 will hit.
for 12 slashing, magical, and a con save.
Give me 1 second.
Take your time.
I have 6 text files open at the moment. 21.
All right,
That was 12 damage.
and now a kick. Gotta get that AC up.
Keep going.
For a nice 17 to hit.
17 will hit.
Are you getting
5?
disadvantage from somewhere?
5 slashing magical and a con save.
17.
And martial arts. Bonus action. A 22 to hit for a final 7 slashing magical and 1 last con save. Please do not make this one, Bricker. Come on, I'm asking. I don't ask a lot of you.
Like, what number do you want me to not roll?
16 or higher.
Well,
Yeah.
9.
Yes! That's my Christmas gift to all of you.
It's January.
Just
It's a
burn through, like,
demon,
16
Bricker, and I know
points.
how fucked up you like to make demons. Oh, there's a planescape in you.
Yeah, we've been through Planescape, Rickard. We know what comes if this guy gets a turn.
Windy, moving or staying put?
I'm good here.
Razu, you're up.
Razu switches to her trident, closes in to stab this guy in the chest.
Okay.
So I'll be rolling an actual advantage here. That's a crit.
Is it?
Yep. That's a
Can
nat 20.
you be the guy right now?
I will attempt to be the guy right now, and I will, in the spirit of ending it, I will put some paladin stank on it.
I think javelins aren't they D6 or not
They are
javelins?
D6s, yes, that's my whip damage. Tridents. Plus, this is also some magic bullshit, so...
I love some magic bullshit.
At least I think the trident is magic. I haven't really confirmed that or not.
Isn't this the one that froze your hand when you tried to use it?
Yes.
Not magical,
Uh,
though.
It's magical.
6.
guys just
that's,
don't- have
6
never
piercing
identified it.
damage. 6 piercing damage and 25 thunder damage.
And you thrust your trident into this thing's belly, and its giant maw just opens up, and it begins leaking this black ichor from its mouth and from its wound. And it's dead. And just kind of
Disagree with
floating there amidst this growing cloud of blackened blood dissipating into the water.
I'm gonna collect my javelins.
Do we get it?
I think we did, yeah.
Okay, because I
Okay.
can't tell the difference between biding their time and dead.
It's bleeding. It's bleeding out of its mouth. I think that's a good sign.
Was that
yeah.
invisible when we first came in here? Is that what happened?
Yes.
Ugh.
Birdie's opening this chest.
Okay?
Wendy's just shrugging at that.
Instead of checking for traps.
There's no lock on the chests. It's just a little
Shit.
latch, and all 3 of them look this way. They're made of what looks like black lacquered wood, like very shiny and very smooth to the touch, and either black or very, very deep red. That has some kind of rust-proof metal banding around the edges, and then a metal latch that you throw it open and open it up.
Yeah,
And inside is,
forgot to check for traps. I'm just gonna own that.
as soon as you open the box, the giant, previously rectangular shaped acid blob starts floating up out of the water. Much, much larger than the tendrils that escaped out into the warrens. Looks like the entire volume of this chest was taken up by an acid blob.
Razu goes over to try and slam that thing shut so it doesn't leak out any further.
Make a dex check.
I mean, I would be trying to do that too.
Right, but Razu said it first, so
Oh, I was trying to get you advantage. I'm sorry.
19.
19.
Didn't need it.
Before Birdie can even really register what's in this box and is about to float out of it, Razu just slams her gauntlets down on top of it, and the latch falls shut. The acid blob is contained.
Razu has advantage on stopping stupid shit Birdie's doing.
I actually have a -1.
She has party
dexterity
mob
penalty.
proficiency.
Well, I would guess we're in the right place then.
Razu glares at Birdie.
Birdie just shrugs at her.
What are they?
Razu brandishes the whip but says nothing.
But why
And-
here?
Looking at my clock, I see that I have, in fact, lost track of time. I was supposed to start
Is it time
winding
to
up at
go?
5:30, and it's almost 6 o'clock now.
Do you want
Wow.
do you want us to just write down our stuff then, and we can get back to you next week?
Yeah, we'll do it first thing next week.
All right, guys, make sure to write all your shit down.
Think of all your
Yep.
stuff. I
You
do
wanna
hate breaking
just-
early, but Peanut and I have a thing tonight. I'm supposed to be done at 6 o'clock, which means she's going to be pulling in the driveway any second now.
We'll let Bricker
Yeah.
peace out. Do you guys want to stick around in the Discord for a minute and work out our four people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Want to generate a straw poll?
Birdie, do you want to open up these other 2 chests first?
Uh,
I don't have
Yes,
time to
yes.
babysit a straw poll, unfortunately. I've got to go like right now. This chest is an acid blob, and this chest is also an acid blob.
Oh fuck!
Aye.
3 big old acid blobs.
Okay.
Thanks.
So that's it, guys,
yeah,
for
I
this
can
week.
stick around in the Discord for a little bit.
yeah.
I'll be back
Thanks
on
for showing up,
tomorrow
everyone.
to
Blitz.
stream something.
Thank you.
We'll figure out all our blips first thing next week. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for playing. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Yep.
Later.
Thanks for coming.